Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. So yesterday I put up a video talking about the use of grab and dice sets. So today I want to go a little further into it and talk to you about the use of bones at those type of sets. So, and I know some of y'all can't use bones, like my friends down in Arkansas and my ones, you know, out in Pennsylvania, I believe you're not allowed to use bones. Illinois, I know you're not allowed to use them. So I'm going to have an alternate set in there for y'all that you can use using a piece of PVC pipe. Basically, it's the same thing as the grab and die. The only difference is you're using bones instead. So I'm doing this kind of right here in my yard today, just off to the side. I don't want to get out in the country too far today. I got some other things going on. So anyway, stick with me and we'll get right to it. All right, guys, so here we've got our first one. We've got just the femur bone of a deer. Could be a cow bone, could be a sheep bone, could be any kind of bone that you have available to you. This just happens to be a femur bone from a whitetail. Drove in there, we've got our backing, we've got our blocking out here, this rock that creates the walkthrough, creates the triangle, creates the more paws on the pan routine. Now, you could do this with it as a urine post, or you can do it with a food-based lure or bait. If you use it as a urine post, you would squirt the bone with urine, then you would put a little gland lure, and I like to put my gland lure at the base of my attractor, just because I keep his nose down there and I keep his feet just a little closer to his nose that way. So back about 8 to 10 inches pan center is where you would want the trap buried. Make sure you get it bedded in there good and solid. Like I said, and then we've got our blocking out here to create that walk-through pause on the pattern routine. Now, as we come over to our next little deal here, this is for you boys that can't use bones in your state. That's just a piece of 1/2-inch PVC pipe drove in there, kind of like Mark Zager's pipe dream set, but not, because the trap is buried in the dirt versus just covered with grass. We've got that tall grass there as the backing. We've got a rock about the size of your fist out here to, again, create that walkthrough. That's very important. And another important thing with these sets, and I should have mentioned it yesterday in the video, and I'm sorry that I forgot, these type of sets need to be set in high traffic areas, because of the simple fact is they don't have a lot of visual stimuli like a trench set does, or, you know, a big hole set, something of that sort. So you need to put these in high traffic areas. Find your places where the tracks are coming and going both. That's where these need to be. Anyway, again, back to the set here. We've got our PVC pipe drove in there. You can put your bait and lure there, or I would caution against using this as a urine post type set. You could. I don't see a problem with it. It's just not very appealing as to something that they're going to want to come up and urinate on. We've got our rock in here about the size of a fist, maybe just a little bigger. Create that walkthrough. Create that triangle where they come in and back out. Create more paws over the pan routine. And then we just turn a little bit, and here we've got a skull. This is a white-tailed doe skull. Now you can use cow skulls, horse skulls, sheep skulls, any beaver skull, anything you want to use with this. Now, I didn't do it here, but I'm gonna tell you that what I would do is dig that down just a little bit and seat that down into the ground good and firm. That way they can't just come up and pick it up and walk off with it. Okay? I hope that's coming through to you, is what I'm trying to get across. You want those seated down in the ground, or even you could even stake that skull down so they can't just come up, grab it, and take off with it. And then a lot of guys will turn that skull the other way and lure up the eye socket. I don't like doing that because that gets my attractor wider than what my jaws of my traps are. I like to keep it, lure up the nose cavity, and it comes to a point that way, and it keeps that attractor narrower than what the jaws of my traps. That's just me. You figure out a way that works for you, then by all means keep pouring it to them until it doesn't work anymore, and then do something different. Again, we've got the rock laying out here. It could be a rock, it could just be a mound of grass and dirt, whatever suits you. Again, the rock's about the size of my fist or just a little bigger. Create the walkthrough. That's very important. Create that walkthrough, create that triangle type of deal to where they're coming across, coming back out. Again, creating more pause over the pan. It's a very deadly, very effective set, but again, these need to be in high traffic areas. I wouldn't just lay these out in the middle of a bean field or out there somewhere where there's no visual stimuli to attract the coyote over to me. You're not going to have very good luck that way. But on the outside of a fence corner, the head of a tree, you know, a ditch that comes out into the middle of a field that they have to come around, something of that sort, that's where these sets really shine. Now, the last one that I want to show y'all, and I don't know how well it's going to show up because of the sun. The sun's always in the camera, it seems. We have a T-bone. That's just the vertebrae out of the back of a deer. Drove in against that clump of grass right there. We've got our little trail dug there, a little trail coming through there. We've got our blocking here. Trap back about 8 to 10 inches, deadpan center from the attractor. Use a food-based lure, use a food bait, use a call type lure, not a long distance call type, but a call type. There's a difference. Something of that sort in there. Lure up inside the spinal column there, and that will help protect the bait and lure from the weather. Again, with our blocking, create the walkthrough to come through to investigate. Alright guys, I know that was kind of a quick little deal there, but there's really not a whole lot to it. Again, everything is pretty short, simple, and sweet. Just get right down with the program. Once again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and watching these videos. And if you would please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. I'll answer back just as fast as I possibly can. Once again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one, signing out.